Good morning, guys. So at 3 a.m. my time, it's now 10 a.m. my time. The new reward cards were released, and they're super exciting. I haven't gone through them, so I'm just going to share with you my first impressions when looking at them. So I think it's obviously 12 cards, 2 cards per each splinter. I don't know if there's a neutral card, I can't even remember, but let's go through them. So the first card is Bloodmaker. He is a 5 mana cost, high damage, high speed, low HP archer. When he upgrades, he does not get armor, so I think it's a typical trait with fire cards. They typically don't have armor. You want to get him... Okay, so first upgrade gets him extra speed. He's got the scatter shot, and then cripple. Okay, so it's quite standard. The main thing to note is that at level 3 you get the extra HP, which is very good. At level 4 you lose the HP, but you gain the damage, which is a weird upgrade because technically you're just converting HP to damage. And then at level 5 you get that HP again. Do I like this card? To be honest, no. I think first impression, the only time it will be good is when you're playing Jodens and snipe is banned. So it'll be that smokescreen where stealth and snipe don't work. So then scattershot still works, and then you might use him. But I find the lack of armor and the super low HP means that he's going to be super vulnerable to opportunity cards. So initially, I don't think he's god tier. I would maybe say he's like B, situational type card. And then we go to Countess Sinesh. Let's check her out. So 8 mana, she's a legendary. This is a common. 8 mana legendary. Opportunity, lifesteal. So that's the fire vampire girl. High speed. Okay, no, she's great. She's great. So this card is going to be S tier. And the reason I say that is that she's got camouflage. So you can put her in the back with camouflage. She will literally just snipe with super fast speed, and she'll be vulnerable to blast, earthquakes, poison. But as long as those aren't on the field, and it's not one of those games, she will do such a good job at being a vampire. Like, it's really weird that they've given her spell vamp, because technically with camouflage she will be the last monster on the board, and once she's the last monster on the board she shouldn't be able to attack anyway. So it's a weird combo, but I think it's just to ensure that she like survives, which is crazy. I think this is a great card. So you definitely need it to be level 2. If you get it to level 3 that's even better, but definitely level 2 for the camouflage. Like once it's level 2 it's god tier, it's S tier. At level 1, it is still good, but it's just vulnerable, where the camouflage makes it invulnerable. So I would honestly say that this card will be used a lot. The 8 mana cost is probably the only reason why it won't be seen too much in low bronze and low silver. But as they increase more mana games and it's in high mana games, I think this card will pop up a lot. I think this is honestly just camouflage, opportunity, fantastic combo. Okay, and now on to water, my favorite summoner. So we have another... Is this a new ability? Or is it the one I think it is? Let me just double check. Now I'm kind of doubting myself, but... No, okay, cool. It is the vampire ability. Okay, so we got another vampire, a mermaid vampire, a merd hampire, a merd hampire. Okay, so it's all just vampires. It's a countess, it's a bloodmaker. Okay, so it's a vampire update. My bad. So we got a merd hampire, and let's see, 4 mana. There's a lot of really good archer cards, but it's a 4 mana, low HP. Decent speed, decent HP. So this is basically just another plug, and in case you guys don't know what a plug is just a archer that you put in your back line to just protect yourself from stealth attacks. So stealth, opportunities. So water, I always say, has some of the best plugs, because you got things like a Mandarin. So for 3 mana, you've got that 1 damage and then lots of HP. There's a whole bunch more, obviously, if I can scroll down and find them. Like just in Chaos Legion alone, and then let's make it regular. So just in Chaos Legion alone, you've got the Mandarin, which is like fantastic for 3 mana. You've got a Dark Spear for 2 mana, and then so this Mirror Vampire coming in, like yes, this ability is cool, but this ability is kind of a waste on archers, just because once they get to the front, they're... So here's the mentality. For 2 extra mana, what you get compared to a Dark Spear is the ability that when it attacks and it hits a unit, it heals 1 HP. But for 2 extra mana, you could just put in a 2 mana minion, such as Untamed. You could put in a Ice Pixie, and that will be 1 to 2. That would also take 1 to 2 hits based on its level and if it's got armor and stuff. So I don't like this card initially. I think it will be very good at level 5 once it's got cripple plus 2 damage, and then it's still able to be used in bronze. But if it's not level 5, at level 1 or even at level 4, I still prefer things like the Dark Spear. So I think this is very similar to this. I think it's better than this though. This one's really bad because of the no armor and very low HP. But I think this card is a like B tier card initially. Okay, and then we got the Tidebiter, which is a epic. Oh, and he's got the new ability, which is really cool. So he can't be affected by Thorns, Blast. So initially, my thoughts looking at it. So this would be silver, this is gold. A 2/4. Oh, but it's 3 mana. This would be good. So initially I was thinking it would be very similar to... What is that card called? A Magma Troll? Because Magma Troll kind of does the same thing, where it gets 2 damage, 3 speed, 4 HP, which is exactly what I saw here. 2 damage, it's got more speed, 4 HP. But the main difference is it's 3 mana. And I think for 3 mana this is a great card. So I'm not going to give it the same God S tier, but I definitely think this card will be used a lot. I definitely would put him at like A tier. So I think this card is fantastic. And then, yeah, I think this is just really cool because then Thorns and Blast won't impact it. Yeah, I like it. I wish it had some armor, but then the beauty is that you've combined this card. I think it just plays really well into the new way that they've directed water, which is the like melee water. Melee. Jesus, I always get that confused. But yeah, so with a Kyla, giving that speed, giving that armor, I can't see how this isn't going to be great. You'll have 5 speed with armor, with 4 HP, with 2 damage. It'll be a fantastic addition to your gold or silver deck. Okay, and now on to the Vampire Bat. So everyone's getting a common, and then some are getting epic, some are getting rares, some are getting legendaries. So for the Vampire Bat, initial thoughts are no armor, bad HP, bad damage, 3 damage. I'm gonna say trash. Maybe used for earthquakes, but there's so many better cards for earthquakes. If you go to life, even just looking at like a 3 mana, like I prefer Heal Giant. Like the Heal Giant does a better job. Heal Giant's common as well, so let's compare the level 5s. It's going to be a 2 damage, 2 speed, 8 HP, where this bat at level 5 is 2 damage, 4 speed, 4 HP, but it's got blind. So you get double the amount of HP with a Heal Giant, so I don't think this is going to be used a lot. It definitely screams and reminds me of the card, I can never pronounce that dragon's name, but a Coca, I'm just going to say Coca. Same vibes as a Coca, but with 1 more mana, so it definitely won't be used too much. Maybe once it gets dodge and it gets more speed, it will be used more. But even then, yeah, I don't like it. I don't think it's going to be played a lot. I'm going to give this a D tier. Vampiric Blossom. This was the GIF that they shared last week at the Town Hall. I thought it was a really cool looking card. It definitely looks... I thought this would be a perfect position 2 melee card, because it's like... It just reminds me of like those Plants vs Zombies, where the big like man-eater plants would just lunge over the potatoes and then eat. But they've made it a range card, which is a bit weird because it's got teeth and a mouth, so it's definitely going to bite people. So I don't like that it's got... Anyway, not important. I'm babbling on. Not important. As an archer for the life deck, I think this is... it's okay. It's kind of a... It just reminds me of a bad version of the... it's dice. It's dice. So it just reminds me of a bad version of a Lunakari Mistress. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a C tier. I think, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a worse version of this because this is magic and it is melee. And then when you look at the current cards, it just reminds me of it was a reward card. Yeah, so it just reminds me a lot of like a barking spider. So yeah, not that good. I wouldn't get too excited about it, but it'll definitely be played sometimes when there's like no magic games and you've got extra mana. But there's definitely better archer cards, especially for Earth, in this game. Okay, moving on to life. We have a wolf called Bulgarian, and it is a scavenger. That's cool. So you got a scavenger, 2 mana, eventually gets dodge. Yeah, I don't like it. Sorry. Yeah, like the 2 mana, the 2 damage, really cool. The 4 speed, cool. Like scavenger, 2 HP. It would be good in equalizer games. I think it'll be really strong there for 2 mana. But putting this in position 1 or in position 4 and then praying it doesn't die until it's the last one and it's got lots of HP. Yeah, this is a yeah, I don't think it's going to be seen too much use. I think it's got no armor. The HP is a bit too low. So I think this is definitely going to be maybe only for opportunity games or like I think just equalizer games is the only time I would use it. So I'm going to give it a C tier. This is the one that everyone's getting excited about. Is that Bloodlust? Just I want to confirm before I go too crazy. But it should be Bloodlust. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we got another Bloodlust monster, which is exciting. And it's got True Strike. And it's gonna get okay. So Jared Scar, this beautiful hippopotamus, I am gonna give it a A tier. Like just initially looking at it, it's got high damage, it's got bad speed, which is probably the reason like Rom doesn't work too well, is that he's got too low speed. Decent armor and then bad HP, but it's for life. So if you combine him with some of life's best summoners, oops, that's fire. So if you manage to combine it with a like Taurus, you can get that armor. If you do it with a Kala, you can get that HP. Just don't combine it with the Sloan. With the Shine, you get the Divine Shield. With Chances, you get the Resurrect. With the Peak Rider, you get the huge amount of armor. So there's lots of things that you can give it to buff it up, both defensively. And then the Bloodlust plus True Strike. So the True Strike basically means that it will always hit its target. So the low speed doesn't matter. And then at level 3, it's God tier because it gets Pierce. The only thing is it's got that 5 damage, which cards that have the ability to deflect regular abilities, which is this guy, once he manages to get Force Field, he doesn't take a lot of damage. So monsters that now have Force Field will basically be the counter to a Jared Scar, but then in gold tier, if this guy is smacking you with Pierce and True Strike and 6 damage, he will kill a lot of minions and manage to buff up his HP and his stats with Bloodlust. So I think it'll be a really fun card to play, and I'm giving him A tier. Moving on to Death, we have the Ever Hungry Skull. This is meant to be a position 1 card. When I saw the stats of this card a while ago, it's super amusing to me. It has an insane amount of armor. It can get up to 11 armor, but being realistic, as a rare, it will most likely be a 3 damage, 8 armor, 3 speed, 1 HP Colossus of a monster, because this will obviously be the silver rank. And then, oh Jesus, it's terrifying. But basically equalizer games, and then maybe even no magic games, it will be used a lot. But yeah, Pierce will kill it, Magic will kill it, so you definitely, but like every equalizer game is gonna have an Ever Hungry Skull in it. This card is insane for that. A Revealer, which is a opposite of a healer. Let's see what he does. 4 mana, 1 magic damage, which eventually gets to 2 magic damage, and stun. So magic stun, always a good combination. I think this is great. I think this card will, I mean, honestly, just looking at it, it automatically just reminds me of the beautiful Medusa when she gets stun. So same thing, 4 mana, 1 magic damage, 2 speed, 4 HP, and we get 1 magic damage, 2 speed, 4 magic damage, 4 HP, plus stun. When you level it up, getting that extra HP is okay, but then getting it to level 3 and getting the 2 magic damage is key and going to be crucial. So this just reminds me of Medusa, and Medusa was one of the most used cards, as well as my most favorite card for Magic decks. Obviously water is built for Magic decks, but still, great card all around. I think this card will be used a lot. And then finally the Dragon cards. Oh, and a neutral card. Okay, so the Dragon card is a Infiltrator with double strike. They've added a lot more double strikes recently, but let's see, 4 mana, decent, 1 damage, less decent, 2 HP, 3 HP, 1 extra speed. Okay, so being realistic, most of us will get it to level 2. So you'll have 2 damage, which will then be 4 damage, 3 speed, 3 HP, no armor. I like it. I think this is cool. I think once it gets Cripple, it'll be even better. But sometimes Cripple doesn't. I don't think Cripple ever applies twice. It only applies once per monster. But then basically, if you manage to get your hits, you do 2 damage, plus another 2 damage, which is 4 damage, and then Cripple is 5 damage. So you can do a lot of damage with this guy for 4 damage, and I think that's really cool. I definitely think he needs some armor or protect cards to help him. If not, I still think there's room for him, and he'll be used a lot, just because he's lots, like all double strike cards are always a lot of fun, especially when they give you blast and other abilities. Okay, and then finally it is the Ventator Kinjo, another legendary card, 2 mana. Oh, that's crazy. So he gets camouflage, but he can't attack from the back, so he'll only be used. So this card will basically, wow, and he's gets immunity, and he's resistant to blast and thorns. So this card will basically, in my mind, will be used for like poison games and games that you just drag out the fight, and he can just hide invisible with immunity and like not get killed ever. So I think in Earthquake and poison games he'll be used a lot. And I also think in like when they give you sneak and when they give you opportunity, he'll be used a lot. I think the 1 damage is weird, but the abilities that he gets is quite funny. And then eventually the amplify, obviously level 4 is god tier, level 2 is mandatory, but even then, yeah, I would. I'm not gonna give him an S. I think maybe A or B plus. But yeah. Those are my thoughts on the cards. Let me comment down below which is your favorites and which ones you guys are going to use the most. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye.